This old school photography technique will make you more creative. H&Y Filter sent me this really cool variable ND filter, and I wanted to give it a shot using the technique I'm going to show you right now. Given that you can actually cut 10 stops of light using this variable ND filter, let's go outdoors and do some slow motion effect. Here's what you need: a camera, a lens, of course an ND filter, a camera tripod, which is in here, and optionally a flash and a lighting modifier. Here's how you can adapt the filter to your lens. I'm using here a Tamron 2875 G2, which has a 67mm thread. Although the filter that I received is an 82mm filter, I adapted the ND filter using this really cool Revo ring adapter. It screws itself in, and the magnetic ND filter attaches itself to the Revo ring. So first, pick the brightest day you can find. This shot was taken at actually 2 p.m, but find the right time for you. The first thing that we'll do here is to get a base exposure. The goal here is to get a slow shutter speed, so anything under 1/30th, in my opinion, is good. To get the maximum effect out of these H&Y filter, crank the ND filter to the smartly written max setting. Also, try to keep your ISO at 100 for the maximum dynamic range. With the filter set up, then take a base exposure. In this first shot, I guesstimated the exposure to be 1/20th. I asked my friend then to run and grabbed a shot at 1/13th, which was what I like in terms of motion blur. Now that you have a base exposure, the second part is optional, but you can always add a light if you want to control the variables. Here I'm using a Godox 8400 Pro for a very slight fill. The next step is important. I recommend placing your camera on a tripod. The reason for a tripod is with this low shutter, you'll integrate a lot of your own motion blur. You might want to stabilize your shot, as you can see on the zoom photos. With your shot now stabilized, I then placed my main subject where I wanted him to be and asked him to remain completely still. I framed this with a basketball court in mind. After framing my main subject, I asked them runners to run in the opposite directions and my other friend to jump to the rim to create a split effect. We're almost there. A bit of post editing and color and we have this image. And you can adapt this technique to your liking. For example, I wanted a focus on the shoes, so I went down to the floor and created this shot with the same technique. Now, what else would you do photography-wise with this filter? Let me know in the comments.